Before we begin, YouTube, this video is not made for kids. I make videos about movies and shows that kids like, but my channel is not directed towards kids. It's a news channel, so thank you. Hey everyone, welcome to Filmtastic and welcome to a different sort of video again. I like to sprinkle these through, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Descendants book that was released last year, which is Beyond the Lost, which is this book here. We're going to be diving into this and just kind of digging through it, I guess, and just seeing what new things were revealed. There's quite a lot of good stuff in here, not gonna lie. Also as well, if you guys are keeping up, last week it was actually announced to work on a new Descendants book called the Mermaid Handmaid. This is like quite well timed, I feel. Yeah, this book here is based off Red, and it's kind of a prelude to Rose of Red. This is her in Wonderland, and it really does show how much of like a evil sort of tyranny character the Queen of Hearts is. Obviously we got a good taste of that in the movie because she, okay, it's going to spoil this in this review, by the way. Is it even a review? I don't know, but there'll be spoilers for the book and Rise of Red, so yeah. But yeah, in the movie Rise of Red, we know she like literally kills Cinderella in the alternate timeline if they didn't fix things, so she is devilishly dark. Obviously she's redeemed at the end, or so we think. We haven't seen Step 5 yet. But yeah, this book, I mean, like, you see hints of the Queen maybe being not as harsh as she, like, seems on the outside, like with her interactions with Red, but ultimately a lot of her actions end up being really awful. Okay, I need to talk about two characters and the ending in particular because I can't get out of my head. They consumed me, and yeah, this is basically a book that tells you how Red went from trying to reason to her mother, you know, trying to be rebellious but not sure what she's doing, to a full-on rebellious personality. She wasn't fully into rebellion up until the end of this book, which then sets up the movie where she is literally planning like a whole rebellion thing against her mum in the opening of the movie. So it's like very much sets up Red as a character, and also sets up her thing with having like distrust of Chloe and being scared to make another friend because she had two very close friends before she met Chloe. So let's talk about these friends, which I keep saying I want to talk about because they've been on my mind ages. So we have some new characters which are book exclusive characters. We often get these weird Descendants books. We have Chester, who is the son of Cheshire Cat, and we also have Ace, who is like a son of just one of the cards, I guess. And yeah, so they meet Red at school. So basically, here's a gist. Red was homeschooled most of her life until she gets sent to her first public school, which is like Wonderland High, I think. And the teacher of her class is actually someone we've already met, Maddox. So yeah, Maddox, I'm not sure if he's still the teacher by the time of the movie. I don't think he is. I'm guessing he was fired, but in the book, he taught at the Wonderland High. He was a science teacher, I believe. My brain might be fuzzy though, because I've been reading this over the last few months, but I'm pretty sure he was a science teacher, and basically Red joins this science class. I'm going to clarify, I can't remember if it's definitely a science class. I just think I was envisioning it as a science class, but I'm pretty sure it's a science class, or some sort of Wonderland science class, because I know you have to shrink things and grow things, so I want to say it's a science class. So yeah, in this science class, she sits down, she joins the class, she has to introduce herself, it's very awkward. People in the class automatically hate her because she's associated with the Queen of Hearts because she is the next in line to reign and the Queen of Hearts' daughter. So you get why it's a bit awkward. Until she meets, you know, Ace and Chester, who don't actually judge her at all. Well, I know I lied, they did judge her quite a lot at the beginning, but they start to trust her a bit more when they start to know her and realise she is nothing like her mum. In fact, along with Red, the three of them actually plan multiple events to try and get Wonderland to escape the Queen's rule, because the Queen is crazy. Like, basically when you leave school you have to either be one of the deck of cards who have no soul, no identity. See, here's the thing, I'm not sure if the card guards in the live action movie are the same as the book, because in the book, and maybe unless there's two different ranks, that's what I'm thinking. But in the movie they seem to just be like soldier guys, but they definitely had like a soul. Like the dude was, one of the main soldier guards in the movie. I can't remember his name, but he had a bit of a personality. But in the book, see, I thought the book was just saying, oh yeah, they lose personality because maybe they get trained. But no, they quite literally are turned into just like, I'm pretty sure she turns them into actual stacks of cards. Like I don't think they're even human. Obviously they can do it in live action anyway, but like they literally have no personality. They have this helmet on that clips to their head, and it just changes them completely. So they're not themselves. So there's a whole thing. So you have to become a card. I'm guessing it's if you fail, or you have to kind of, is it on the court or be one of the Queen's maidens? Like you have to be part of the castle somehow. And they're like the two places you can be. So you have to basically serve the community. And basically, Chester and Ace do not want that. They do not want that. So they very much want to help Red in this rebellion to kind of make it so everyone has free choice. They don't have to do what the Queen says. Or like just like, for example, parties are like banned in Wonderland and all this shebang. Also, it is canon in this book that Alice did in fact visit this Wonderland. So that is canon if you guys did not know. So yeah, Alice did in fact go to this Wonderland. Apparently there's been like several big events in this Wonderland that has happened, which is pretty crazy. There's also like going back to Chester and Ace, so they help help Red to plan a bunch of these like parties, and obviously like I said, parties are illegal in Wonderland, and these parties are meant to be kind of a sort of uprising against her mother to kind of say we don't want to follow your rule anymore, but they don't go well. The first two parties, they end up getting caught, but the Queen kind of lets it slide, but the second time she doesn't even care. But the third party, which they do whilst the Queen is away, getting ready for the tea ceremony, which I'll get to in a minute, what that's about, they throw it at the actual castle, and the Queen comes home livid, her face is red, there's a vein popping out of her, and they all run to like the sewers. And Red ruins this really nice dress that she like made. It's a whole thing, and they end up on the run. They have to like her and Ace and Chester are on the run. They're hiding from the guards. The guards are looking for them. The guards actually capture her friends. So this is why Red has a lot of trauma before she meets Chloe and distrusts the people. But they get captured, and Red manages to escape. But yeah, like I said, the whole second plot of this book, though, that's not to do with the rebellious side of that, is the tea ceremony, and that is basically this plot point where Red's mother, the Queen of Hearts, is planning this big tea ceremony event in which Red will do her first rule as the newest queen after her mother. And that rule will be whatever she wants, but it has to be something commanding, Red jokes in the book, maybe I could make everyone wear this funky hat or something, and Queen's not like that, but yeah, she was like, you got to train, you got to practice wearing these dresses and holding your tea the right way, and it's this big ceremony that her mum's excited about, and every time, if Red disappoints her, because she does not want to go through with the ceremony, and she doesn't want to be like her mum, but obviously her mum does not take it, and that, yeah, the tea ceremony is kind of brutal, and we get to what actually happens on the day, because kind of trying to trail for the book. There's also a whole subplot in the middle of the book where they find this sort of haven, a safe haven away from the Queen's rule, and Red goes there with both Chester and Ace, and that place is called Bramble Bay. I do not remember that, but yeah, the secret place is called Bramble Bay. I believe Chester's family is from there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Cat family is kind of from this secret place, because obviously the Cheshire Cat family are obviously all about not following rules, so obviously they go to a safe haven away from rules. Basically in this place they learn a lot of things about freedom and not being under the rule of a tyrant, and basically all of these events really do make, they all make up Red's personality that we see in Rise of Red, which is pretty cool. Now let's kind of get to the sort of end of this book. So after all of the uprisings and all the things they do to try and uprise against the Queen, her, Chester and Ace, for all of that, towards the end of the book, when we get to this last section, when on the run, Red actually realises she has feelings for Ace, which is the card soldier kid, which is really sweet, and I think they do things for each other, but it's very short-lived, but it's kind of a little small thing they have whilst they're on their own. And like, even Red says she doesn't know what to do with herself. Does she want to follow this path, or does she want to just go back to her mum where it was easy and she wasn't, you know, being chased after by soldiers? But then after her friends get captured by the soldiers, you know, this is the back of the book right again. When she gets captured, she obviously is upset and distraught because she's never had friends before. Like, Red has been homeschooled her whole life, so she's never had a friend before. But her mum said that friends are a weakness. This is the first time she's ever been scared in her life for anyone other than herself. And she has to decide, does she run away? Does she save herself? Does she get her freedom that she's always wanted? Or does she go back to save her friends from her evil mum? So, of course, she goes back to the castle and she finds her friends in the dungeon. And she's in disguise as well. She's in like a card disguise. She runs down the dungeon to save them, without realising her mum has set a trap, because she, like, Red was kind of sus because she was like, why is there no guards locking my friends away? And then she finds out that, like, it was all a trap. She said there was no guards down there because the queen wanted Red to go down there to save her friends so she can trap her own daughter. And then the queen puts Red in the dungeon with both her friends. But the next day, on the day of the tea ceremony, this whole thing, which is a really dark ceremony by in this book, basically on the day of the ceremony, they let them all out of this prison. The queen's like set them free. So Red gets put in the castle, but the queen is lying because Chester and Nathan were not actually set free. They were put on display in front of this massive audience so the queen could make a name out of them. She could say, I'm going to stop these rebellious teenagers and show to you why I'm in charge. And yeah, so if you guys did not know, I don't think it was shown in the film too much, but the queen actually has magic. Yeah, she has magic powers. In the live action film, I think she does a couple of things with her cards which are like magical, and she has like magical dress transformations, but she isn't like magical. Well, she is magical basically, because in the movie it implies her cooking is magical, but I don't think it's implied that she herself is magical. But in the book, it's explicit that she can do magic. And basically, the queen says a spell, some sort of crazy thing. Honestly, this whole sequence was giving me like Wicked vibes, like, if you get what I mean. So she was saying this big spell, and Red was distraught because she has never been heard of mom say a spell before. So even magic herself could be actually something she doesn't normally do. Maybe she's still learning it, because even Red says she's never heard of mum say that spell before. And basically the queen, to show an example to the kingdom as to why you shouldn't uprise against her and you shouldn't overturn her as your leader, you know, basically she wants to scare her whole Wonderlandian people. Yeah, so she got Red's only 2 friends in the entire world. She puts them on a platform, you know, I think what they did to pirates in the old days. You know, she didn't kill them, but what she did do was like almost as dark, to be honest. So as you know, in the Descendants universe, they all look pretty human. You know, they're kind of stylized. But yeah, let's just get to the point. So the queen sets a spell, and then Ace is transformed into a card guard. In fact, I think he's made to be like a leader of the card guard, or one of the card guard leaders, because there's like different packs. So yeah, so obviously he's not the one we see in the movie. He could be a different one. But yeah, she turns him into a royal card guard. Let's try to say that first. And he literally uses all of his individuality. He doesn't know who Red is. He doesn't know who he is anymore. He doesn't know who his family is. He doesn't know where he lives. He has no interest. The only thing he knows is serve the queen. It's almost as bad as being dead, basically. You don't know who you are. You're kind of just like a mindless soldier, quite literally. Like I said, that's why I'm not sure if there's different packs of card soldiers, because in the movie I don't think that group were. I don't think they fit that description. I know the book does differ from the movie, but I think the ones in the movie did seem to have individual personalities, kind of. They did what the queen said, but they at least kind of had. So, like, what I mean by him having no personality is that they literally nothing, just robot. Think robot army. Yeah, so that's that. So yeah, crazy. And then Red looks at the platform, and then her other best friend, who has been causing havoc for her mum, Chester, who she met in that class, he was turned to a cat. Yeah, not just a cat person, no, a cat, a full cat. And apparently he looked just like his dad, the Cheshire Cat. And he just vanished mouth in air, and he didn't recognise Red again. So they're basically written out of Wonderland as like characters, but they're just mindless people now. I mean, to be fair, I think Chester got the better deal because at least he's probably still himself. I think Red even says that she thought he recognised her, but obviously he's a cat, he can only meow. So obviously, yeah, I think he got a slightly better deal. I'm also pretty sure that his dad is still literally a cat, so maybe it's not that weird for him. I don't know. I mean, in the Sense universe, though, he's probably a man. But anyways, yeah, that was the tragic ends. They were no longer growing people, they're all boys, friends of Reds. Nope, they were a cat and a card. Yeah, pretty dark ending. And then, but instead of showing emotion or sadness, Red decided in the book that she doesn't want her mum to victimise any friends she meets or put anyone she loves in danger, so she's going to just not have friends. She's just gonna, in the future, she's just gonna be a lone person that terrorizes her mum in secret, so she can't get anyone else she loves in trouble. And it's kind of sad, like, that's the conclusion she has to come to. She has to be rebellious in a way that her mum can't hurt her. Like, she can't let her mum hurt her feelings, so she just has to fake and play pretend. She's gonna be who her mum wants her to be during the day, rebel during the night, make zero friends, and just be a loner. But I mean, that's why it's kind of sweet that she's friends with Maddox in the movie, because like at the start of the movie, Maddox is quite literally her only friend, and he's like her old teacher. But maybe that's why she bonds with Maddox, because he probably knew her friends, and maybe he comforts her, over them and remembers them for who they were. So yeah, and that's the book. That is the book. So a lot of cute stuff in here, a lot of good lore building in here. Like if you guys want some more like lore building to Rise of Red, if you thought the Descendants 3 to 4 was a bit of a huge time jump, there is a lot of good build up in here, and there's lots of references to King Ben, Alice in Wonderland. There's also references to all the parrots, like the Mad Hatter, the Cheshire Cat, and where all these people went. There's also quite a big bit about the barrier and the wall, and why the Queen thought it was a good idea to not be involved with Oradon, and why it was good to cut off Wonderland and everything. So yeah, because we didn't really get much Wonderland in the first movie, so this has really got everything Wonderland you need to know. So obviously in the movie, Wonderland's only in the front of the movie, but obviously Sense 5 is going to fix that because we're going to go into Wonderland. That makes a good thing actually. This book could be really good to read for the 5th movie as well, because it has a lot of setup for Wonderland, and it's also been implied that these books are going to be a lot more connected to the movies. I know the original trilogy of books were connected to the movies, but there were just so many like problems in terms of connecting the books to the movies, where like they didn't quite work together, but they worked enough that you can infer stuff. But I think I did hear that they are trying to make these a lot more in canon within the universe. Obviously this one to me does sound pretty canon in my opinion, and it doesn't seem and I haven't noticed any differing continuity errors, but I think it helps that this is set in a whole different part of the world, so I think that does help a lot with continuity and stuff. And there is the rumour about the new book coming for the 5, which is also meant to be a lot more, like I said, in canon within the universe, because it's going to be about the parents, and obviously that's going to be pretty fine as a book, because you're not going to, no, it's not going to go back. It'll only be, that next book will only have a continuity error if we go to Back to the Past in like the 3rd movie, and then things didn't play out how the books ended. So I guess we'll see. They're kind of semi-canon, but I think they're meant to be a lot more canon than they used to be. Like, I know the first 2 Descendants books were like canon-ish, but they were like certain continuity errors were just like, huh? What? That's like connect the movie. The thing about there being like a bunch of extra kids that we don't know about, I mean, that's kind of normal for these books, but the thing I like about this book is that they actually wrap it up. They're like, well, I don't see them in the movie because There aren't even people at the end of it, so obviously thought ahead of this one because there need to be these questions where it's like, why is this a really important person in the book? Where are they in the movies? So that's why I'm glad this one does it like that. So yeah, because of all that, and because of that, out of the books I've released so far, I'd honestly rank it pretty high because, like I said, there's little to no continuity errors. It sets up a lot of the fourth movie. It's also quite a lot more separate from the rest of the other books, but that's kind of the point. It's called Beyond. I think I would probably rank it like, I don't know, maybe third out of the 4 ones, so pretty high. But yeah, that's it though. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this book down below and how you think it has impacted your watch of Descendants Rise of Red, and are you excited for the one next year, which is going to be the one about the Paris Men Academy. So I'm going to try buy that one. I want to see what that one's about. I want to know about what happened to Castle Coming. That book has got to cover that instance, surely. Anyways, that's it today. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you very soon.